7 a.m.
Today's news.
Trump ally cooperates.
Mark Meadows could be the keystone witness.
Another new speaker nominee.
We have a lot of big priorities ahead of us right now.
Unrelenting war.
Israel increased its airstrikes on Gaza amid growing calls for a ceasefire.
Good morning. I'm Steve Kathan with the CBS World News Roundup. There's a new, potentially serious legal setback for former President Trump. Correspondent Robert Costa reports CBS News has confirmed that Trump's former White House Chief of Staff, Mark Meadows, is cooperating extensively with federal prosecutors.
Sources close to Trump tell CBS News the former chief of staff is cooperating with special counsel Jack Smith in his election interference case. Meadows' lawyers declined to comment about the investigation, but one person close to a key witness says Meadows has provided detailed testimony about his private discussions with Trump. And there is concern he could be moving toward an immunity arrangement with prosecutors.
Former federal prosecutor Scott Frederickson tells CBS News,
This is a huge breakthrough for the special counsel's prosecution. The dominoes are indeed starting to fall one after another, and this puts even more pressure on those still facing charges.
Yesterday, Jenna Ellis became the third former Trump attorney to enter a guilty plea in the Georgia election case. The former president still holds sway on Capitol Hill. Trump's opposition doomed yesterday's GOP speaker nominee, Tom Emmer. Now there's another person for Republicans to consider. Louisiana's Mike Johnson.
This House Republican majority is united.
CBS's Scott McFarland.
A former talk radio host, he's an attorney specializing in constitutional law, that voted to decertify the 2020 election. And that could be a pivotal vote because yesterday, just 4 hours after winning the nomination, Minnesota's Tom Emmer quit the race. Some of his Republican colleagues told CBS News they just couldn't back Emmer because he voted to certify President Biden's win in 2020. Also, former President Trump had a social media post about Emmer yesterday blasting him, calling him a rhino, Republican in name only.
Hamas calls yesterday the deadliest day of the war so far as Israel increased its airstrikes. The UN Secretary General has called for a ceasefire, denouncing what he called collective punishment. Israel's UN ambassador called on him to resign. Here's CBS's Holly Williams.
More than 700 were killed in the Gaza Strip in just 24 hours, according to the Hamas-run health ministry. Evacuations have been in Gaza since this war began. The United Nations says a third of Gaza's hospitals have stopped functioning, either because they're damaged or because of a lack of fuel to power their generators. At Al Nasser Hospital, they're still open, still saving lives when they can. Many of the injured are very young. Are they the enemies? Said this man, pointing to his wounded son. In the neonatal intensive care unit at Al-Shifa Hospital, doctors are also warning of a fuel shortage. With no electricity, they say, many of their tiny patients would die. Israel claims there is fuel in Gaza. Let Hamas resupply the fuel to hospitals and to its poor residents, said a spokesman for Israel's military.
The UN Agency for Palestinian Refugees warns without fuel deliveries, it will soon have to sharply cut back relief operations in Gaza. Hurricane Otis is lashing Mexico's southern Pacific coast. The storm hit as a powerful Category 4 and has since weakened. CBS's Adrian Bard is in Mexico City.
The storm intensified very quickly, becoming a major hurricane and threatening the heavily populated resort city Acapulco. Waves of 18 to 24 feet are possible.
You're listening to the Wednesday Morning World News Roundup from CBS News. It's 4 minutes after the hour.
Well, that's today's news. Today's news. I didn't hear any good news, did you? I didn't think so. I guess it's all about perspective. The glass is half full. Well, as always, I'd like to thank you again for coming along with me on these Dash Cam News adventures. You know the drill. Peace, love, and all that hippie jazz. Bye-bye, everybody. It's 55 degrees outside.